Hello, and welcome to Sure 7, a show designed for quick and easy biblical answers to tackle tough questions. Whether you're seeking clarity for yourself or answers to share with others, Sure 7 provides 7 scriptures to help you better understand the Bible. Growing up, many of us was taught that Sunday is the day that we go to church to worship and praise God. Many people choose this day based on what was adopted by society. However, you have a select few that go to church on Saturday, typically Seventh-day Adventists and Seventh-day Baptists. Many people feel that it does not matter what day that you choose to worship, as long as you give praise and honor to the God of the Holy Bible. What does the Bible say about this? Let's take a look at it. All right. So today's topic is titled Sunday or Saturday, which day is set apart and holy? All right. So we're going to start this Sure 7 off in Genesis 2, verses 2 to 3. And we're going to see, even in the beginning, how the Lord had everything set up, giving the commandments to Moses to give the children of Israel. But even the Lord, after he created the heavens and the earth, he himself also rested. All right. We know God's a spirit. God don't need the rest. But his Sabbath day that's mentioned in the Bible show us, again, the significance and why we should keep his day. All right. Genesis 2, verses 2 and 3. Bro, go ahead and get there and read.
And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made.
Uh-huh.
And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made.
All right. So we know that God is a spirit. All right. We know that he don't need to rest, sleep, nor slumber. All right. But so far, we see that he sanctified the 7th day. All right. So let's get into this a little bit more deeper. Let's go to Exodus 31. All right. Exodus 31, verses 12 through 18. All right. So again, the Lord gave the commandments to Moses to give to the children of Israel. And the Sabbath was part of what he commanded Moses and the children of Israel to keep. All right. Actually, it's the fourth commandment. You can read that in Exodus 20 on your own, and it breaks it down. But again, this is reiterating what we read in Genesis 2. All right. Exodus 31, verses 12 to 18. And bro, when you get there, go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you.
All right. So he said, this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. All right. He said that you may know that I am the Lord that don't sanctify you, that set apart you. All right. Verse 14.
And ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For
Uh-huh.
whosoever doth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Uh-huh.
6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death.
So we see that this day so far, he said that it's holy. All right. It's a set apart day. And he said you have 6 days of labor, right? Just like the Lord made the heavens and the earth, he did everything in 6 days. But the last day of the week, the 7th day, he rested. All right. So just like how he had it set up, he want man to follow the same way, because in the beginning, we know God created man to become gods. And it's still part of God's plan. But he said, even this is how serious this day is, that he said, if you work on this day, you shall be surely put to death. All right. Verse 16.
Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant.
Uh-huh.
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
All right. So again, just reiterating again, he said This is a perpetual covenant. This is an agreement. All right. This is how you know that what God said versus what man is saying. All right. So far we see just how this is something we're supposed to keep throughout all our generation. You're not supposed to work. You're supposed to do your work within 6 days and rest the 7th day. All right. Just like the Lord did. All right. Verse 18.
And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God.
All right, so that you know that this was set in stone, right? This is law. All right, this is part of the commandments. All right, so let's go to Numbers 15. All right, so we just read that it says that anybody that work and do anything on the Sabbath day that's going against God's word, especially working, he said you will surely be put to death. Again, when the Lord say something, he don't say it just to be talking. Obviously, it's a reason why he say these things. All right. Numbers 15, verse 32. And bro, go ahead and read.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks upon the Sabbath day.
Uh-huh.
And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and unto all the congregation. And they put him in war, because it was not declared what should be done to him.
All right, so they found this man that was gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. All right. So again, they knew this was something that was law. They knew they're not supposed to have work. Even the Lord provided the children of Israel, even for food. He made sure they did everything on the 6th, all the way to the 6th day. That way they had to go look for it on the 7th day. All right. But this man was picking up sticks. All right. That sounds harmless, right? Let's see how the Lord feels about this. So they put him in ward to find out what should be done to him. All right. Verse 35.
And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall surely be put to death.
Uh-huh.
All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp.
Uh-huh.
And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died, as the Lord commanded Moses.
Wow. Just for simply picking up sticks. All right. So far, the question was, is Sunday or Sabbath the day that's set apart? Right. So far, we see that it's leading towards the 7th day. All right. So let's see why and continue understanding why we choose days or pick days versus what the Lord tell us to do. All right. Let's go to Luke 4 now. All right. Luke 4, verse 14. And we're going to see what Jesus did. So he killed them, a man, for gathering sticks on the Sabbath day. He said this is the day we're supposed to rest throughout all our generation is a covenant. We're going to see even if Jesus kept the Sabbath day. All right. Luke 4 and verse 14. And when you get it, go ahead and read.
And Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee. And there went out a fame of him through all the... And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read.
So we see that Jesus, that was his custom, right? That he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day that stood up to read. He stood up and taught. All right. Remember, this is a custom. This is something that, again, if the Lord is going to say these things, he's a man of his word. He's going to back it up. All right. Because the scriptures can't be broken. All right. So let's check this article out. All right. It's called How Did the Sabbath Day Change from the 7th day to the 1st day? So far we've been reading these scriptures and they're showing us that the 7th day was selected and ordained by God. All right. Bro, you go ahead. When you get there, go ahead and read.
In both the Old and New Testament, there is not a shadow of variation in the doctrine of the Sabbath. The 7th day, Saturday, is the only day ever designated by the term Sabbath in the entire Bible. Not only was Jesus a perfect example in observing the weekly 7th day Sabbath, but all his disciples followed the same pattern after Jesus had gone back to heaven. Yet no intimation of any change of the day is made. If the change did not take place in the scriptures or through the influence of the apostles, when and how did it happen?
So we see again, this is so far backing up the 7th day. Go ahead, continue.
In order to understand this, we must understand what happened in that early church soon after the apostles passed off the stage of action. Paul had prophesied that apostasy would take soon after his departure. He said there will be a falling away from the truth. Gnosticism began to rise up under the influence of philosophers who sought to reconcile Christianity with paganism. At the same time, a strong anti-Jewish sentiment became more widespread. Very speculative interpretations began to appear regarding some of the great doctrines of Christ and the apostles.
So they let you know that they adopted paganism in it. So when you go on the first day of the week or you celebrate any of these man-made holidays, you're practicing paganism. All right. So they use the excuse of the fact that the Jews, the one that killed Jesus, so they gave them, I guess, in their minds, a right to change this day. All right. Go ahead, continue, my brother.
By the time that Constantine was established as the emperor of Rome in the early 4th century, there was a decided division in the church as a result of all these factors. Constantine was the first so-called Christian emperor of the Roman Empire. He declared all his pagan soldiers to be Christians and became very zealous to build up the power and prestige of the church. Through his influence, great blocks of paganism were taken into the Christian ranks. Sun worship was the official religion of the Roman Empire. It stood as the greatest competitor to the new Christian religion. It had its own organizations, temples, priesthoods, robes, everything. It also had an official worship day on which special homage was given to the sun. That day was called the Venerable Day of the Sun.
So you go on the first day of the week, which is Sunday, you're worshiping the sun, the S-U-N, not the S-O-N. All right, you see how man changes things. Again, it's nowhere in the Bible that said that this day was changed from the 7th day to the first day. Go ahead, continue.
It was the first day of the week, and from it we get our name Sunday. When Constantine pressed his pagan hordes into the church, they were observing the day of the sun for their adoration of the sun god. It was their special holy day. In order to make it more convenient for them to make the change to the new religion, Constantine accepted their day of worship, Sunday, instead of the Christian Sabbath, which had been observed by Jesus and his disciples. Sunday was officially declared March 21st, 321 AD. Remember that the way had been prepared for this already by increasing anti-Jewish feelings against those who were accused of putting Jesus to death.
All right, so again, although the Jews killed Jesus, and again, they adopted paganism, Emperor Constantine, they gave them a reason to change the day, the 7th day, to the first day. Remember, they was deep into paganism. And even this world today is deep into paganism. All right, so you think about Rome, who got all the different branches of religion, they still run it into this day. All right, so when you go on the 7th day of the week, like we do, or even like people that actually observe the Sabbath day, the world look at you as something that you're doing that's different from them. They don't understand why you do it. All right, but we say we serving God, we're supposed to keep his commandments, right? We're supposed to be a part of his covenant. All right, so let's get back into the scriptures. All right, let's go to Revelation 22 and verse 7. And bro, when you get there, go ahead and read.
Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. And behold,
verse 12.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
So he said, "It's blessed is he that keepeth the saying of the prophecy of this book." Again, even all the way in Revelation, he said We're supposed to keep his words. Continue, my brother.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and
Uh-huh.
may enter in and through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Uh-huh.
For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book.
All right. So when man changes, when Constantine and Rome changed this, they're taking away and adding to the word. And Lord said he's gonna put the plagues on you, basically destroy you when you take away and add from his word. All right. Let's go verse 19. Go ahead.
And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book.
All right. So let's go to Acts 17. All right. Acts 17 and verses 1 through 5. And bro, when you get there, go ahead.
Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews.
Uh-huh.
And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures.
So even Paul, who everybody tend to read his word and misunderstand a lot of his word, but even he kept the Sabbath day. He reasoned with them 3 Sabbath days straight. All right. He did the same thing Jesus did. Verse 3.
Opening and alleging that Christ must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this Jesus whom I preached unto you is Christ.
All right. So let you know, even though Jesus was persecuted, he still kept the Sabbath day. All right. So even though his people killed him, that don't mean that we're supposed to stop keeping it. Again, they man adopted their own ways into this and just changed the whole day. All right. Go ahead and continue, my brother.
And some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Greeks and great multitudes, and of the chief women not a few.
Uh-huh.
But the Jews which believed not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the bastard sort, and gathered a company, and set all the city on an uproar, and assaulted the house of Jason, and sought to bring them out of the people.
All right. So again, the same people that killed Jesus who understood this word, they believed in not. Even today, people, it's called a tradition where they've been taught as growing up as children to go on the first day of the week. All right. The whole world's deceived. All right. So let's go to one last place. Let's go to Hebrews 4, verses 1 through 11. And bro, when you get there, go ahead and read.
Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it.
Uh-huh.
For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it.
Uh-huh. So you gotta have faith to understand what Jesus is saying, to put it in works. Verse 3.
For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the 7th day on this wise, and God did rest the 7th day from all his works.
So he even says in the New Testament that he rested on the 7th day from all his work. Just reiterating what we read in the Old Testament in Genesis, verse 5.
And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest,
Uh-huh.
seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief.
Uh-huh.
Again, he limiteth a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts.
Uh-huh.
For if Jesus had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day. There remaineth therefore a rest for the people of God. For he that is entered into his rest, he also have ceased from his own works, as God did from his. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
All right. So again, we got to get away from the things that have been adopted to us, because again, man had changed his day of rest. All right, because this day is so important. This point towards the 1,000-year peace here on earth and first resurrection. All right, so who are we going to listen to? We're going to listen to man, or we're going to listen to God, because again, the Lord changed not. All right, so that's the lesson. Sunday or Saturday, which day is set apart and holy?